Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we'll talk about the status of some of the bills pending in the lame duck session in the Congress. We'll also talk about some of the important questions for those who have been impacted due to the layoffs. I'll give you an update on the Canadian immigration lawyer's interview and also some of the related questions regarding that, and some other important topics that you don't want to miss. So watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I am not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Check out the links in the description. Those are affiliate links. So if you buy anything out of those links, the channel will get a little bit of a commission. I also wanted to give you an update on the interview that was planned with the Canadian immigration lawyer and CEO of Syndesis. That was supposed to happen on Friday the 9th, but due to scheduling conflicts, we had to postpone it to next week. So now it will happen sometime on Tuesday or Wednesday, but stay tuned to my channel because that is upcoming. I know a lot of people who have showed interest in that particular topic, especially in the light of the layoffs that have happened in the US in the tech industry, and what are your options to go to Canada and find similar jobs or work on the current job that you may have, given all the visa issues that you may have in the United States. So that video is coming up very soon. I apologize for the delay in that video. Now last week there was supposed to be a House vote on EGAL Act. Now EGAL Act, as I mentioned in my last video, has to do with the removal of per country cap. Now it has other provisions as well, but this did not happen last week. There was no vote on the House floor on this bill. Now it is said that it is going to happen next week, which is on Tuesday. Now Congress does not have a lot of days remaining before they go on a recess for the Christmas, and then in the new year on January 3rd the new Congress takes over. So they really have only this week to pass anything meaningful in the Congress in this lame duck session. So hopefully this EGAL Act will go through the House floor on Tuesday of this week as scheduled, and we'll get something out of it. So if there is any new update on the EGAL Act, which I think will pass in the House, I'm not so sure about the Senate though, I'll be sure to make an update video on that one. Now another thing that I wanted to update you on is the documented dreamers. That particular clause was supposed to be included in NDAA Act, which is National Defense Act, but that did not happen. Those immigration clauses were not included in the NDAA Act. So that has to pass yet, but so the clauses to bring some relief to the documented dreamers who have aged out on their parents' application and no longer to stay on their parents' green card application, there was supposed to be a relief for them through this Documented Dreamers Act, which was supposed to be included in NDAA, but that will probably not happen this year. Now, although this is not a great story, there is still one more thing to look out for. There is that omnibus bill, which has to do with government spending, and that bill absolutely will pass, as every year it will pass in the Congress. It will pass in the House and the Senate, and it will become a law. And that particular bill has a chance to carry some of the immigration clauses, particularly to do those that have to do with the registry date changes and some other important topics, such as if you have been waiting on approved I-140 for more than 2 years, you may be eligible for I-485 application and avail EAD and AP kind of benefits. So that particular change may be included in this omnibus bill, which has to do with the spending bill. Now this is one big piece of legislation that has to pass through the Congress in this lame duck session, and if those clauses remain in that omnibus bill, then it will be a big relief to the immigration community. Because remember, if they can change the registration date ahead, they should keep bringing it up ahead so that more and more people become eligible for adjustment of status. And also, if you have been waiting on approved I-140 for more than 2 years, you will be eligible for 485. That is an incredible benefit that this particular bill will accomplish. But let's see what happens to the omnibus bill and whether these clauses are included in the final bill that gets approved. Now here is another important topic that I have covered in my couple of videos back, but this has to do with layoffs. Now in the layoff situation, obviously if you are on H1B, you are hugely impacted, but I covered two of the scenarios and I'll repeat it here. If you let's say you are on H1B and you lose your job and you do not have your green card process in place, in the sense that you may not have started any of your application for like PERM or I-140. In that case, it is a big impact for you because you only have 60 days to find another H1B sponsoring employer and to remain in status in this country. It is imperative for you to get your next job with an H1B sponsor and have that H1B transfer process initiated before 60 days. So that is the biggest impact scenario. Now there is a second scenario where you may have started your PERM and I-140 was approved. In this case, still you haven't applied for your adjustment of status, so you are still under a little bit of a perilous situation. But in this case, what happens is you still have 60 days to transfer your H1B to another employer within 60 days. But the benefit of your I-140 approved, you will have your priority date locked in. So once you move to your next employer and when they start your green card process again, you can recapture that priority date from your previous employer. So that is the biggest advantage of having I-140 approved. It doesn't give you any status as such because you'll still have to maintain your H1B status by doing a transfer to another company, but at least your line in the green card queue, which is represented by a priority date, will remain intact if you have your I-140 approved. Now back in November, I shared some investment strategies to protect your savings. And while stocks and index funds have traditionally relied upon investments, considering the current state of the economy and equities, it might be a good idea to consider options outside of the stock market. There are still alternatives assets out there. Real estate, commodities that have low correlation to traditional markets. Now traditionally, gold and oil were the leading commodities, but there are assets that also have quietly provided insulation during economic downturns. And not just stores of wealth, assets with growth potentials like contemporary art. According to the Masterworks All Art Index, the last time inflation was near its current levels, art prices appreciated at an annual average of 17.5% per year. You might be wondering, why hasn't everyone flocked to this market? It's simple. Accessibility. I mean, who has 10 million to splurge on museum grade work of art, right? So thanks to today's sponsor, Masterworks. Investors all over the world can enter the market for a fraction of the cost. This isn't an NFT, it's not cryptocurrency, it's art from legendary names like Picasso, Banksy and Monet. In 7 out of their 10 exits, Masterworks has delivered net return over 17% to their investors. In fact, their last 3 fetches 17.8%, 21.5% and 33.1%. Nearly 600,000 people have signed up, but my subscribers can get priority access at the link in the description. So check out the link in the description for Masterworks and get the priority access through Wisdom Trends link. Now let's continue with our topic. Now the third scenario is if you have your green card process in place, you have your PERM approved, you have your I-140 approved, and you also have applied for your I-485. In this situation, you are in the best case scenario in terms of a job loss on a visa. So in this case, what would happen is you would still have that 60 days to maintain your H1B if you can get an employer to sponsor you and transfer your H1B. But if you don't get an employment within 60 days, you are in a little bit of a luck because you will still be able to remain in status, and that status will be provided by your pending adjustment, pending I-485. So when you have applied for I-485, it automatically grants you a valid status to remain in the United States until your green card is approved. So that will be your backup status in case you are not able to find an H1B sponsoring employer. So those were the 3 different scenarios. Now if you are in this third category where you have a pending adjustment of status, and if you have your EAD and AP, you can start using your EAD. This might be a good time to let go of your H1B in case you are not able to reinstate it by transferring it. So you can move on to your EAD for your next job, but regardless you will remain in status until your green card is approved. Now some of you have mentioned that you got your green card lately, which is great, congratulations. Now what are the next steps for you? What is about the SSN and driver license and so on and so forth. I have made a couple of videos on that. Do a search for what are the things you should do next after you get your green card, and you will find at least 2 to 3 videos where I go into the depths of what are the things that you should do and should avoid missing out in to retain your green card. So do check out those videos, and if you don't find them, just ping me and I'll give you a link. Now there was a recent question from one of our viewers, and he had a question regarding the prevailing wage determination, PWD, which is sought by your employer when they file for your PERM application. Now I want to cover 2 particular things in prevailing wage. One question is, do you have visibility on your prevailing wage determination that was done by your company? Now the straightforward answer is the company has no obligation to give you a copy of your prevailing wage. This is the reason is it is a company paid document. So Department of Labor has a rule that a company is supposed to cover all the expenses for PERM application, and prevailing wage determination comes under that as well. So if employer has spent some money to get a prevailing wage, that is for a particular job with particular geographical location. It may not be very specific to you, so they may not be obligated to provide a copy of that prevailing wage to you. But in some instances, as a courtesy, employer may choose to give you a copy of the prevailing wage, but again they are not obligated to. Now another question was, does your salary need to be as much as prevailing wage or higher before you get your green card? Now the prevailing wage salary is to be paid by the employer when you get your green card. They are not obligated to pay you before that. But if they continue to pay you even now, even while your green card is in process, then that gives them an edge in order to show evidence that they are able to pay that kind of salary once you get your green card. So it's in their benefit to give you that salary that is according to prevailing wage, either same or higher, while you are in the process of green card. Now another tip I wanted to actually give you is, if you are in this layoff situation, you might also want to consider Canada as your option, because in Canada you have many options if you lose your job. There is a GTS, Global Talent Stream, wherein you can get your work permit within weeks if you are in the tech industry, in the STEM category of jobs. So you can quickly go to Canada either through your current job or find another job. And as I was saying, we will be talking to the Canadian immigration lawyer and CEO of cic on what are the options if you are in a layoff kind of situation in the United States. I missed another piece of legislation that there is a lot of chatter about. This piece of legislation that has been brought up by Kristen Sinema, who is a senator from Arizona, and Tillis. This has to do with giving the pathway to citizenship to millions of undocumented immigrants. So it has to do, its focus is mostly on the undocumented immigrants. I did not see a language in it whereas they say will it apply to the documented dreamers as well. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I got a lot of questions on this particular legislation put forward by Sinema and Tillis. So those were the quick recaps of all the topics that I wanted to cover today. We are still waiting for our January 2023 visa bulletin, which still hasn't come in. I am expecting it to be available anytime this week, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, and I'll make a video on that as well. My expectation is EB3 will continue to move forward, although at a very slow pace, and EB2 might not move at all, or maybe by a week or so. So that's what we can see in the next month or two. At least that's what I'm expecting. And as a reminder, if you haven't already liked, subscribed and commented on my past videos, please do so, and also do so on this video and the next upcoming videos. I'll be doing the winner announcement at the end of this week, either on 17th or 18th of December. So don't forget to get into the giveaway by liking and commenting on this video, and also subscribing to my channel. So if you like the content of this video, do hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.